and informative.
Thank you for joining us on the News Machine, the hottest news magazine show on radio. We are reaching you from Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM. 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Otobong Nkanta. This morning on the News Machine, Reps approve 500 billion naira request for palliatives as Tinubu promises 12 million families will receive 8,000 naira for 6 months. Court dismisses Nnamdi Kanu's right suit against DSS. And police arrest suspects over attack on Apostle Suleiman. We will also be linking up for the voices in the news. The News Machine will be back after these messages.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 states for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. The House of Representatives has approved the request of President Bola Tinubu for an amendment to the 2022 Appropriation Act. The approval comes after Tinubu's request for 500 billion naira for palliatives to Nigerians in order to reduce the hardship caused by subsidy removal. The amendment passed the first, second, and third readings during plenary on Wednesday, and the House on Thursday approved the President's request after members of the House made contributions. Also reading Tinubu's letter on Thursday's plenary, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said the loan is for the National Social Safety Net window of the federal government.
Request for approval of additional financing of the National Social Safety Net program. Approved an additional loan facility to the tune of USD 800 million to be secured from the World Bank for the National Social Safety Net program. You may also wish to note that the purpose of the facility is to expand coverage of shock-responsive safety net support for the poor and vulnerable Nigerians, and to help them cope with the cost of meeting basic needs.
Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu says about 12 million households will get 8,000 naira over a period of 6 months, with a multiplying effect on about 60 million individuals. This is to cushion the hardships faced by Nigerians as a result of subsidy removal. In a letter to the House of Representatives read by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas during a plenary on Thursday, Tinubu said it was designed to enable indigent and vulnerable Nigerian people to cope with the cost of meeting basic needs. Tinubu, during his inaugural presidential address on May 29, announced the removal of the petrol subsidy, causing the prices of petrol products to jump over 200% and an increase in food prices and transportation. A federal high court Abuja has dismissed a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, against the Department of State Services. Justice James Omotosho in a judgment held that Kanu's suit lacked merit and ought to be dismissed. The IPOB leader alleged that the DSS subjected him to torture and denying him his right to wear any clothes of his choice, like the Igbo traditional attire called Ishagu, while in their facility or any time he appeared in court for his trial. Kanu also accused the DSS of subjecting him, breaching his right to dignity, among others, but the DSS said that their operatives had not and had never tortured Kanu either physically or mentally while in their custody. They said it wasn't true that other suspects were allowed to put on any clothing of their choice, including Hausa and Yoruba traditional wear. Delivering the judgment, Justice Omotosho held that Kanu's case did not relate to torture or forced labor, as he was never tortured while in custody, based on the evidence before the court. He said a right to dignity was not a right to change clothes as an inmate in a prison. The police have arrested a 32-year-old man identified as Yusuf Issa in connection with the attack on the senior pastor and general overseer of Omega Fire Ministry, Apostle Johnson Suleiman. Gunmen had in October 2022 attacked the convoy of the cleric along the Benin-Auchi Road in Edo State and killed 6 persons, including 3 policemen. Addressing journalists while parading the suspect in Abuja, the force spokesperson Muyiwa Dejobi said operatives of the Intelligence Rapid Team arrested Issa following an intensive investigation. He said 5 AK-47, 2 K2 assault rifles and 180 live ammunition were recovered from the suspect. Now it's time to get the trendy stories from the News Machine studios at Hot FM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with more news coming from the nation's capital.
Good morning. Here's the news from Abuja. Abuja Municipal Area Council has pledged commitment to support security agencies in protecting the lives and properties of all residents in the area council. AMAC Chairman Christopher Kalangu made this known at a familiarization visit to him by divisional officers of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Area G, comprising Jikoyi, Karu, Nyanya and Karshi of the area council. Kalangu assured that the requests by the personnel for assistance are reasonable and will be forwarded to the appropriate authorities for timely action, adding that he believes in following the appropriate channels of action undertaken by his administration. Speaking at the event, the area commander of Area G, NSCDC, Palma Gloria, who stated that the menace of scavengers, kidnappers, armed robbers and other undesirable elements are challenging the efforts of the Corps in combating crimes in the area, appealed for support from the council chairman.
Nyanya, we are having some challenges. We are having scavengers moving around and taking people's, and we have road traffic, we have student courtesan, but in Jukoi we have sort of criminal activities going on there, kidnapping. As area commando, we have not gotten office yet. We beg you as our father, use your good office to help us to have an office.
Highlights of the event was the decoration of promoted officers of the NSCDC by the executive chairman and the presentation of a copy of the People with Disability Act by ACC Jonai Salamatu Adegoke, who revealed in her opening remarks that a unit was created for PWDs in the NSCDC. FCT administration says it is planting 20,000 trees in selected districts of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to maintain a good environment ecosystem in the city. Director of Parks and Recreation, FCTA, Isaiah Upana, who stated this during the tree planting exercise in Wuye district, noted that the exercise was in continuation of the tree planting in the 3 districts including Wuye and Katampe extension, which began during the 2023 World Environment Day. Upana, who said that trees in the areas were vanishing due to developmental activities, warned that trespassers who fell a tree without permission will be penalized, adding that there were regulations guiding felling of trees. Upana said that the department was working with some non-governmental organizations to plant more trees in the capital cities, particularly fruit trees. Chairman of the charity organization, ZEF, and an environmentalist, Aliu Ahmed, expressed concern on how the ecosystem in Abuja was being eroded and abused, adding that the NGO, with the Director of Parks and Recreation, have concluded plans to plant trees in major parks and gardens in Abuja. He promised to rebuild the battered ecosystem and maintain a serene environment in the capital city. That's all from the News Machine studio at Hot FM Abuja. I am Kevin Joseph La. Over to Lagos.
Alright, let's link up with the News Machine studios at Hot FM 99.5 Owerri for the trending news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Good morning and welcome to our News Machine studios in Owerri. The Labour Party flag bearer for the November 11th Imo State gubernatorial election, Senator Athan Achonu, has accused the ruling All Progressives Congress in Imo for sponsoring propaganda against the Imo Labour Party. Senator Achonu, answering questions when he appeared as a guest on Hot FM's flagship program, The People's Assembly, yesterday, affirmed his rightful ownership of the party's ticket. On the Charter of Equity regarding zoning of the governorship between the 3 geopolitical areas of the state, Senator Achonu advocated that Okigwe zone should be allowed to return to power for the sake of equity. Imo State Police Commissioner CP Mohammed Ahmed Badi has warned enforcers of the sit-at-home order in the state to desist forthwith, as his men would not rest until they are arrested to face lawful persecutions. The warning came just as a faction of the Proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra (IPOB) declared a 14-day lockdown beginning from July 31st. CP Badi said the command has arrested 53 suspected criminals, including a ritualist, kidnappers, armed robbery gang, child traffickers, and a murder suspect. Parading the suspect at the command headquarters in Owerri, the commissioner, represented by the command's spokesman, Henry Okoye, reiterated the commitment of the command to curb security concerns in the state. Meanwhile, the lawmaker representing Anambra South Senatorial District, Ifeanyi Ubah, says Southeast leaders are set to meet with President Bola Tinubu to discuss the possibility of releasing Nnamdi Kanu. Recall that the proscribed IPOB leader has been in detention for about 2 years now, and Ubah believes that his release will help reduce insecurity in the Southeast geopolitical zone. The lawmaker noted that Kanu's release is part of the discussion to put on the table once they can get into talks with the president. That's all from the News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos. I am Ifeyunwa Nwanda.
You are listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our stations in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. Let's hear what correspondent Nessa Sani has for us on Voices in the News.
Nigerian Senator George Akume, after taking up the job of Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF.
Selected to serve in this exalted position, worth of over 200 million Nigeria. It's a challenge to serve in line with the oath I have taken today, a few minutes ago. I assure Nigerians I will do my best. I will not disappoint the president. I will not disappoint this country. I will not disappoint my party. I believe Nigerians will find fulfillment in my responsibilities as I discharge them in their own interest. So I want to thank you for that. I say it is an honor to serve your country. And so one has to show this sign of joy. And I'm strongly persuaded that, guided by Almighty God, I will do my best. And Nigerians will really have to reap the dividends of democracy. I am someone who has been on the scene for quite some time. And if you know the woman we are serving, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president, you just have to follow his footsteps. He has never been in the gallery. You know, the galleries, according to Roosevelt, are full of critics. He has always been in the arena, down in the arena, according to Roosevelt, at the doors. He's always a doer. And so we have to tag along. We must never afford to fail. Thank you very much.
And on the foreign scene, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says he discussed Ukraine with China's top diplomat Wang Yi on the sidelines of an Association of Southeast Asian Nations meeting in Indonesia. According to reports, attention was paid to assessing the efforts of the international community to launch a peaceful negotiation process on Ukraine. And now bringing you sports stories. Everton have signed free agent Ashley Young on a one-year deal after the fullback left Aston Villa this summer. Young becomes Everton's first signing under manager Sean Dyche and has joined the club on their pre-season training camp in Switzerland. And that's all we have for you on today's package of the News Machine. Thank you for listening and do have a lovely day ahead. Good morning.